on over in the LCK. I feel like there's a little bit of an owner, modeling going on. And
one of the most that he's pretty good.
Yeah, well, yeah, owner is one of the best junglers in the world. But the other thing, oh damn it. Okay, well, I was ready to talk about Sion jungle because that is something that owners picked recently, but I don't think we're gonna get that today.
I feel like T1 just likes the style too, though. You know, it's like when Carrier was playing all the random supports. It's like just because it works for Carrier, maybe you shouldn't bring it out yourself. But it is gonna be a Sejuani, some more standard stuff here. Gonna be okay. I thought he was gonna lock in this area, but it is gonna be Xayah Rakan here for FlyQuest. So moving back towards that, haven't actually played it so far this split. It's been back-to-back Aphelios games here for Prince. It is going to be the first time we're getting to see Vulcan, since he's joined FlyQuest, off of an enchanter onto something that can be a playmaker. I think he's a good enchanter player, absolutely. But I really do think he's kind of made a name for himself as that engaged support, as that guy who can be the go button. Vulcan has been so strong in the league for so long. And now the Azir coming through, so it's just like full scaling for Golden Guardians. First 3 picks, you already know what they want to do. Aphelios, Azir, Sejuani, you're just going late, right? I do think that you can just focus on support bans now. You can ban out Lulu, you can ban out some of these kind of common pairings alongside the Aphelios and really try to limit, those pairings for Stixxay. Because Aphelios, without some of that defensive utility, can sometimes struggle. If you ban out things, I like the Lulu, and the Thresh is an old pairing as well, but maybe not going to be concerned about it.
The other thing for
no one expects the banana.
The deadliest banana is the most lethal. For Golden Guardians, looking to diminish the jungle pool as Sejuani is already locked in for River. Wukong, great initiation, is gone off the table. Maokai would be another one to consider because this is one of those matchups where Sejuani can skirmish early, but it's not so much in your face wanting to invade a lot. The Kindred making its way through all of these picks is going to be taken off the table. But FlyQuest are going to need some tank, some initiation other than the Rakan and the Annie.
I mean, it can just be impact, right? And I think because it was an AP mid laner getting locked in on the Annie, Golden Guardians are saying they're going to look for AD jungle pairings. Let's ban out some of the premier AD junglers right now. So Wukong, as well as the Kindred, getting taken away makes a lot of sense. Poppy, the ban here, interesting. There is obviously already the Rakan to be able to lock down, but if you're going to be thinking about playing some more dash champs, if you're going to be playing like a blind Jax or something like that, you could definitely be concerned about it. Licorice is absolutely willing to bring out something like the Poppy, but it does maybe tip your hand a little bit. So it's definitely an interesting one.
Golden Guardians more than likely will want to save counter pick for Licorice up in the top side. You called it out, the Lulu, great enchanter pick. And you already have the Sejuani to face check bushes for you, so you can just all in on giving extra movement speed to your carries.
Yeah, I mean, it is really, really interesting. Okay, that's a good sign.
Nice.
It is really interesting that the Lulu got through, right? Because it feels like such an obvious pick, but maybe they feel like, hey, even by banning out that Lulu, we're not going to knock them down the tier list enough for it to matter. So we'll see where they are going to go. So Viego coming through, Viego and Gragas. So a couple more champions, with those dashes that could be affected by the Poppy. It is going to be bringing in some more engage as you wanted. It is an AD jungle pairing, double AP soul laners, lots of physical damage as well from Prince on the Xayah. So pretty well-rounded composition here from FlyQuest. And Gragas is always nice because you can go AP or AD based on the matchup. Just based on what is really going to fit. Aatrox will be interesting because Aatrox, I do know.
Oh,
okay.
Licorice bringing out the Yone. Is this his first career Yone pick?
I'm going to actually check on that. I want to say it is. This is actually really interesting. Let's see. I'm gonna double check.
We're pulling up the GOL.
No, he doesn't have anything. No games on it. So it's his first ever Yone game in pro play. I don't think there's any chance they're going to swap. I know there are some like top Azir shenanigans that I've been seeing going on in solo queue. But I think it is going to be Yone top. We saw Dokla play this quite a bit in Spring Split. So there are some players that do really like it. It's played around the world as well. This is going to be an interesting one. It's not a matchup I'm super familiar with, but Yone can become very difficult to deal with, especially as he gets more levels, more points to that E, that soul unbound. The trades become really, really tough to actually deal with. And you can, if you time the snapback on the E really well, immune things like the body slam stun and the Gragas ulti and all these different things. So there's a lot of outplay potential, and it's a pick that scales.
Looked it a little bit, but it's this Viego pickup for Spica. It's definitely a change of pace. We know he went for the Rek'Sai yesterday, looking for that early game pressure. It didn't really work out in their favor, and the game before that, I think he went for the Maokai.
Okay, yep.
And so this changes things up a bit for the FlyQuest and how they want to play the game, because Viego, he can skirmish, he can look for ganks early. They're not as strong as other junglers in comparison, but it's all about resets. And if you have the burst, which he has plenty of full supply from both of the solo laners, you can turn the tides of a battle really quickly.
Absolutely, and I do like that point, because I always think when you're going to play Viego, it's all about getting that first kill, as you're saying. So pairing it with Annie, and it's going to be AP Gragas as well. So you have a lot of upfront damage. You know, even Ignite here on Vulcan on this Rakan. So, you know, if you have that really explosive engage, you can 100 to 0 someone, you know, like Stixxay or Gori, you know, try to get that first reset, start picking up the souls. That's where Viego can really go crazy. So will be interesting to see if FlyQuest can make that happen. A lot of play around these side lane brushes. Brush control so important here, you know, when you are playing in these kind of like melee versus range matchups. Yes, I know it's kind of like technically Rakan has some range, but you're effectively like a melee champion. You have such low range.
Yep.
You can't really trade besides just with those Qs onto Huhi. So you have to be careful about that. And Huhi's going to be starting Sweeper as a result, wants to clear out those wards, and we'll see if they can actually play for the push and try to deny that faster level 2 from Vulcan. Nice sidestep from Huhi on that Q.
And so far, in both of the junglers' mindsets, they're on the top side of the map. They're going to be matching clears for the most part. We'll see if Spica wants to differentiate from the path, and instead of going for a full clear, look to get an early summoner spell down off of the bot lane or even the mid lane if he wants to affect it. I imagine that with Annie, a point-and-click stun, you can at least try to get Gori's flash in the early game.
Yeah, we'll see if he's going to be able to look to do that. Up on top side, Licorice is having full control of that wave, does have the push. You stack up those Qs, it can become really difficult to actually walk up the wave at all. Huhi's just going in really aggressive.
Ignite is burned by Vulcan, who he's burning down. The flash from Vulcan! He's got words to say after the first 2 games of this week. That's first blood for FlyQuest.
Yeah, and that one, they made it look really easy. Huhi was just getting super aggressive, just kind of popped his heel and walked in there for a trade. But it didn't look like Stixxay was able to hit at the same time as he was going forward. And if they're both hitting you, it doesn't matter if you're winning that 1v1 trade. It's going to go so bad. And I think Huhi realizes his mistake and decides, all right, I'm probably just going to die. I'm just going to save the flash till next time, because he just got super aggressive. Like, Stixxay is back still hitting the wave, and you're face checking a brush, so you know that they're both in. I think his heal may have come out after the Ignite there. I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah.
May have been a split second after it, in which case it's going to go even worse. But River now back to them bottom side.
Gonna get explosive, but Spica is here for the counter gank, and River's been cut off. Gonna look to use
his Q though.
Oh, he already used Arctic Assault.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Spica can't get in range unless he wants to burn flash, and at that point, River would just trade flash for flash. Huhi's still trailing, and Gori doesn't have mid lane push quite yet. Vicla is loaded up on the stun. Gori has to play carefully. He's not working with as much mana as Vicla has.
Yeah, I mean, River is just being way too aggressive here.
Forced to flash over. Spica thinking about a flash over the wall, but doesn't have the Spectral Maw quite on deck yet. River's forced to back, and Stixxay, does he have the burn to the flash? Yes, he does.
God.
This is a great opener for Fly, but yeah, this is bad for Golden Guardians.
I mean, Golden Guardians are playing with fire, just absolutely just walking up kind of like one by one, you know, into this river and messing with FlyQuest. And FlyQuest are telling them in no uncertain terms, this is our river. You guys already lost that scrap earlier. So River has to use his flash, Stixxay has to use his flash. They do at least get the flash off of Vicla, who was a trade of flashes with River, but a really good start here from FlyQuest. Again, Licorice up on this top side, you know, using that soul inbound, going to be looking to get those trades, just constantly stacking up those Qs, threatening onto the Gragas, trying to get these quick trades and then snap back. But Spica is going to have a really nice start. He gets double scuttle, he's doing a full 6 camp clear, and River is going to be pretty behind as a result, plus down a summoner.
And if Vicla is able to maintain push alongside Prince and Vulcan, you can, on the next rotation of bot side camps, look for an invade, push River out, and continue this snowball coming from the jungle. And Vicla should be okay. Oh, I was wrong!
Yeah, he really overextended, actually just trying to shove in that wave, and Gori was just chipping away at him time and time again, and Gori had the perfect read that he could actually kill him there, because I was with you. I wasn't sure that he was going to have enough damage. I thought for sure he was just going to be able to push him out of the wave, but not quite have enough to kill him. But in that case, he had just enough. Vicla just stepping forward, wasn't using any of his spells to actually trade with Gori. He was just trying to hard shove the wave, reset it, and does get punished for that missing flash. And now Licorice here does have the advantage because Impact is out of mana. So Impact is going to have to go back to base, but the wave is going to be coming back towards him. So I don't think he's going to be too worried. Licorice does have 6. Oh, okay, didn't want to commit, didn't quite actually connect. Thought more might have happened if he actually committed with that Q3. If he connected with it, could potentially look for the ulti follow because he does have the level 6 advantage right now.
Yeah. Impact's got to be careful, but because he didn't get a chance to recall, he now has to stay for this huge wave that is stacked up. Spica's looping around on the bottom side of the map. He knows that Stixxay does not have flash from before, still is working with a cleanse, so he could cleanse at least the Spectral Maw route, but not the knockup necessarily from Vulcan.
Is that a spectator bug? Because it still has the eyes on his head, like he's spotted from vision plant, and like it was showing that the whole time. I think that's just a visual bug. Something weird going on there, unless that's like a skin thing. But,
probably. Spica's just gonna look for Stixxay. He's walking right up to him. Ripper pressures Prince at first, but then they get the knockup down on the River, but he's quite tanky, so he's able to brute force a lot of this.
Gori's
Prince is forced to flash, and Gori has the inside track.
Has
He's gonna
ult
look
N6.
for it. He still has flash to work with. It's a teleport forced out, but Huhi gets revenge for earlier. Prince cleans up Huhi on the back end of it. FlyQuest and Golden Guardians throwing blow for blow as the explosive cast flash onto Stixxay. No flash, no summoner spells, the cleanse is used, but he gets dunked over the head by Impact.
Can Gori go? He still has flash ulti. He could look for this. Prince is really low.
Oh, he's getting cut by the minions, and River's trying to look for it. He flashes forward, catches Prince out. They finally find the kill. Huge shutdown for Gori, but here comes the resets, and now Spica's the Sejuani. He's riding the Battleborn. They clean up Golden Guardians.
It's an absolute scrap in the bot lane, a bloodbath. Both teams getting kills back and forth there, but again, FlyQuest coming out on top, getting more at the end of the day here. But it has to be said, a lot was gained by Licorice because he did not actually TP down to this. Impact did, and that netted them some kills, but he got 2 plates and denied multiple waves. So despite the fight going the way of FlyQuest on this bottom side, Licorice gets a lot in that 1v1. So we can watch this one more time. River just getting really aggressive. Again, just can't quite connect with that Q. Was slightly short going in onto Prince, but connects with the W. They force out the flash. They push him back. And Gori's coming down. He has the ulti, he has the flash, but when the TP comes in as a response, Huhi just full commits. He does actually finish off the enemy support, but he gives up his life for this. And then it's just a continuous scrap as the flash forward from Impact catches Stixxay, pushes him in. Both of those Golden Guardians members that were around come back, and we're back to live. We're back to watching Golden Guardians bot lane die again. As Vicla on the roam just has him served up, has the flash. I guess they had no idea that he was coming down, and he gets an easy double.
This is bloody, but I love it, Azael. Everyone is just being super scrappy, and Prince, I don't know how that happened. I guess they were disrespecting the all-in from Licorice's Yone.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been the ulti from River, I guess, right? You know, potentially just not seeing it. I'm not sure which one actually got fired out first. But Prince is 6, I believe. Yeah, the ulti is lit up, so he did have the ulti available. Maybe just didn't see the initial engage, and then some good CC layering could come through from Golden Guardians to actually finish him off. But we're 11 kills, 8 minutes in. This is a banger so far. Both teams just scrapping it up. But Licorice in that 1v1 is going to be very far ahead, you know, with a 30 CS lead, with multiple plates to his name. The Yone could become really problematic, and Golden Guardians are just going to be starting up this Herald. But remember, it's missing ultis on both top and jungle here. So this could be a little bit awkward as Gori and Huhi are kind of cut off.
The flash, the grand entrance for Vulcan, but the scoop from Gori forces Vulcan's hand as he battle dances his way back. Rift Herald was contested by Golden Guardians here. Prince tries to push them off, but he's forced to use the Featherstorm. We're back in the mid lane. They find Gori. And Spica is not going to step forward for the reset. He's way too much in danger. But the rest of FlyQuest are just, man, this is...
It just doesn't stop. There are fights everywhere. Prince is trying to take a 1v2, trying to push them off the Herald. Meanwhile, there's a fight in mid lane again. They do get that kill on Gori at the end of the day, but it is Herald traded for it. And once more, no one is answering Licorice. She's like laning 1v0, it feels like. So Licorice is going to be able to push up. We'll see if he gets another plate. Yeah, there's going to be the 3rd plate. So he's going to be opening up a 600 gold lead. He's the richest man in the game right now. You know, quietly is just creating this huge advantage, and that is problematic. It's not like you're leaving an Ornn alone. This is a Yone that is just getting free farm all these plates, plus they grabbed Herald. So they can actually just drop Herald top for him and get him guaranteed first turret. And the Yone is going to get paid, so that could be an issue for FlyQuest. Despite the fact that they're up 4 kills, they're up 200 gold, right? Like it's looking not too bad. Pretty even, honestly, on both sides. And the amount of scaling that has been drafted from Golden Guardians, like they are just pure scaling. 5 ultra late game champions. There is power in the late game on the other side as well. Like FlyQuest aren't bad, and they do have good playmaking. But you know, you have to favor what Golden Guardians has.
Nice flash ulti from River, locks down Vicla without a flash. Gori is still going to tank up the damage from the bear. Is he going to get smacked upside the head? Yes, he does. It's a trade 1-for-1. I mean, Scrappy is literally the game.
Why have 1 kill when you could have 2?
True. Neither team wants to go down without at least throwing a haymaker as they go down swinging.
I mean, both mid laners are like 3 kills, 3 deaths, you know, just going back and forth
This
here.
looks like our
Licorice is looking.
Oh, good. Vulcan, grand entrance, has forces Licorice's hand, the flash, and now does he want to look back? But he's already used the ultimate here. Stixxay has forced a flash as well. They just don't stop fighting,
This is
Azael!
non-stop. This game is so scrappy here, back and forth, non-stop action. Licorice moves down towards mid, but then the engage from Vulcan forces his flash. Then the flash is forced out of Prince. His heal has to be used. Stixxay gets caught out by more members coming in. He's got a flash. So summoners are just getting spent, it feels like, as soon as they come up. And now, in the meanwhile, Spica is actually doing the dragon. He's Triforce, so he is not just kind of defaulting to Divine Thunder, which we've seen most people do. Triforce is definitely what you see a lot of in solo queue. You know, is really a strong item now. There have been some Sunderer nerfs, some Triforce buffs since Spring Split to now. So is definitely a strong option and is going to be going towards it. Herald going to get dropped top as expected for Licorice. Impact's moving up here to answer, but again, Impact's been spending so much time moving with the team and, you know, the teleport for the team down towards bot that, like, this is a monster CS advantage and first turret gold. They're up 1.6k, down 4 kills at 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
And considering that FlyQuest think that they can be ahead by being up on kills, the fact that Golden Guardians are fine trading multiple blows throughout the first 14 minutes of the game, it means that Golden Guardians are keeping themselves within striking distance as they scale up for the late game.
Absolutely, and Vicla here just looking for a nice trade, trying to push that out, but River comes over the wall, flash ulti is nailed. Gori helps to finish him off, but he's so low at the end of it that Tibbers is angry and gives him the beat down there.
That's Cubby in the morning if you don't give me coffee.
Oh, nice. Vicla having a laugh about it, you know, getting the kill from the grave. He's done his mythic. Both mid laners have their mythics completed. You can see Everfrost is done as well for Impact. It is a Blade of the Rune King rush here for Licorice. So going to be really powerful, you know, in the 1v1 and in the side lanes. I'll be interested to see where he wants to build from here. What exactly he's going to look for, if he wants to play more heavily through sides or go towards a lot of people, if they are going more for the 5v5, like to go more heavily towards crit builds and things like that for looking for 100-0 plays on the back line, you know, because you have less of an opportunity to get a lot of autos out in team fights, less of an opportunity to just sustain back up and so on. Could look for a Soul Unbound over the wall here and look for a nice little trade. We'll see if he wants to go for it. Or maybe an ulti if he's really feeling spicy.
And the Impact going the full AP means that he is a squishier target for Licorice to annihilate. Blade of the Rune King means that he will shred through all the targets, even if they have a little bit of HP built into them as well.
Yeah.
But I imagine that the next goal on the target for both of these teams is just getting ready for that next dragon. Because it's been bloody on both sides, we're only at the second dragon coming in at 16 minutes into the game.
I mean, honestly, like in games like this, when dragons haven't been taken much early, sometimes dragons just get completely deprioritized, right?
Yeah.
Because Soul is so far off that it can kind of be like, who cares? You know, if one team feels like they want to work towards it, they can. It's all for all trade there. They're going to get that out of Prince. That's always going to favor the Sejuani generally. Because, you know, you have that Yone as a secondary engage as well. If you show up to a 5v5, now Prince really has to worry about, you know, an ulti from Licorice, an ulti from Gori, and all these things, especially because he's missing his flash. So while that is down, they definitely have to be careful. It's going to be exciting to see, you know, when this next major fight breaks out, because we kind of have entered this like small period of calm, it feels like, over the last minute or two where we haven't had a kill.
Just as we say that? Oh, okay. Thought Gori was ready to make you eat your words there. It's like, you want to fight? I'll give you some action, bro. Now, Spica hovering on the bottom side of the map, making sure that Vicla can get this wave pushed in.
Yeah, I mean, they know that they're a little bit vulnerable here when you're pushing up on the NA, especially if you've already been chunked down a bit. It can be difficult, and especially against these Ludens type builds. The Q poke is actually pretty annoying. Nice combo there onto Licorice. May force out the ulti defensively. We'll see.
But he's getting in front of him, so he can't use the ulti here. Fate Seal connects, but because it's interrupted by Vulcan, Licorice still has nowhere to run, and the Soul Unbound is going to mean that he is forced to tether right on back. He's trading some damage back. And it looks like Impact is low enough that he does not want to risk going for the trade.
Yeah, they can't commit. They know the W is actually back up there for Licorice. So if you give him that 2-man W, if he's able to get that a final bit of damage, Impact doesn't have any more spells. Vulcan already spent ulti, spent the ignite. So Licorice doing a good job absorbing that pressure. It is a move up towards topside to try to deal with him. Not able to do so. And he is building towards the Phage. It looks like it's going to be a Herald start potentially here for FlyQuest. So they're going to be starting this up. But again, Does Prince have his ulti back? It looks like no. So Prince could be vulnerable. We see the TP flank coming in from Gori, and Gori could get behind them potentially.
Glacial Prison is up for River here.
Here he comes.
Oh, Gori's looking for the scoop. Prince has flash available, and they're forcing the fight on the left side of the flank. Prince is completely out. He cannot aid with any damage. Vicla is looking for a way in, but Golden Guard is completely annihilated the front line of FlyQuest.
Yeah, they do get that kill, but at the end of the day, not that bad. It's just Herald for the 1 kill, so if Golden Guardians can actually push and get more, it's not too bad at all. The ulti swing and a miss there from River, tries to actually find it, not able to do so. They did get the TP and the flash and the ulti off Gori. River moving down into the spot side to try to grab the scuttle, potentially set up for a dragon play of their own. But it's Licorice in the top lane that is going to be that frustration. He's the thorn in the side here of FlyQuest. Using that E again to just kind of step forward. He walks back, he pops the E, then he goes forward to actually clear out that last little bit of minions, knowing that he could be in a dangerous spot. But now Vicla could be up a little bit too far. Licorice not going to go for it because he didn't have enough information on where everyone else is, and his team is taking Dragon, so not going to risk it. None of the people were showing on the map. Now we see that FlyQuest is towards mid lane. They're going to grab this tower, which will be their first turret of the game, not first tower, but they're going to grab one for themselves and close that gold lead a little bit.
And just trying to fight for vision control. No way. Oh, Impact is in there. I mean, River still have the smite, and he should be able to Arctic Assault away. And then Golden Guardians managing to pick up their first dragon in the game as Licorice looking for the all-in. Spica's got nowhere to run. The flash over. Licorice, the soul unbound damage. It's not enough. Spica makes it out alive.
Yeah, not quite enough. That's the difference, really, of that Ruby Crystal probably in pocket, keeping him alive. And Licorice, not able to get that final little bit of damage in. When he flashed over the wall, you could tell he didn't exactly know which way he had gone, and Spica was able to create enough space to just barely survive. It's got to be a bit of a frustrating one for Licorice, as he committed a lot. Flash and ulti, at the very least, got the flash there off of Spica, and clearly showing that he is the strongest in the 1v1 for now.
Now, if you're watching this game...
Oh my god, he went Hullbreaker. I was not expecting that.
What?
Licorice is going full split push.
He is committed to the single male grind set, Azael, on the side lane.
This is hunting alone.
Lane. I'm hunting alone. No one joined me in my pursuit.
I mean, this is definitely really interesting. I have not personally seen a Yone go for this build. Maybe I've missed some pro games where it actually did come in. I'm trying to even look at solo queue stats to see if that item is really coming through at all. But it is pretty interesting. Yeah, there's like almost no games with that, even in solo queue.
Impact might be forced to use the explosive cast, maybe a flash as well. Nope, there's too much damage coming out. The explosive cast is a little too late as they layer the CC down, and Impact's got nowhere to run. Golden Guardians on the flip side means that Gori has to cede control of the top side jungle as FlyQuest will look for a push.
And I will say, it is frustrating dealing with these Hullbreaker side laners, because you're going to be so tanky, right? So even if you send someone up there, he has a high chance of actually being able to escape in a 1v2 because of all the additional armor. He's doing bonus damage to towers. It also, especially for AP champions, like someone like Gragas, you don't have the best wave clear, and now the cannons become so tanky. Like, not even the turret can really deal with the cannon effectively. Gragas cannot kill those. So that is one of the biggest frustrations, is the Observer is actually going to show you, or was showing us briefly. It gives you this ability to make the cannon so tanky. And it's going to become really, really difficult for Impact to keep Licorice off the tower. So if he pushes up, then he can just back off, use the Soul Unbound, use that E to go forward and actually just chop away at the turret time and time again. So you're going to have to send multiple members down to answer him, or try to get a ton down on the other side of the map, which FlyQuest have been kind of struggling to do.
They're going to find River in the top side. River, as he's forced to flash away. Vulcan going with the grand entrance, and they've got the charm onto Gori. He's using the Emperor's Divide, but it's still not enough time to get him outside. And now Huhi is all alone, but the Blast Cone empowered. Going to make sure that he gets a ride out safely, but now FlyQuest have complete control of this river and the jungle entrance.
Well, this is huge. They're going to force Baron. They need to get Licorice out of that side lane. They know they do, so they had to go to the other side of the map. They're trying to force here. Licorice is just going to stay bot and just look to try to go for a nib, and we'll see if River can actually go for some sort of a steal. Would be a one-way trip. So he does not have flash.
Oh, I think FlyQuest are getting antsy about it. They're holding it. They're way too scared because Impact
No
is
one's
set on
over
the
there to
bottom
push
side
him
of the map.
off. This is getting awkward.
2,000 HP. They're going to get Vision soon. Huhi is there to grant Vision over the wall. River can easily make this steal if he wants to, but it is FlyQuest that secured the Baron. But the cost of it is Licorice taking the inhibitor, and they lose Vulcan on the back end of it. Can they chase them down?
They just have to stop the bases, right? You know, they're just trying to delay as much as they can. That was actually pretty well handled. Vulcan does go over the wall eventually to guarantee it. You know, he goes over, he CCs up River, then they burst it down while River is CC'd. So a clean secure, but at the end of the day, it does get them a kill on the exit. And Licorice is just unstoppable in the side lane right now. I can't remember the last time I really watched any LCS games where it's like full commitment to split push. You're winning purely through sides. And it's kind of beautiful to see because it has been so long where the meta has been purely about, 5v5, about the bot laners. We were just talking about this earlier today. So it's kind of fun to see someone trying to break that meta and move in a very different route. And actually, it looks like he's probably going. Is he going Iceborne? I guess he's going to go to Iceborne. So he's going to go tank Mythic, and he's going to be at that point. It's like, I guess he's basically saying, I have enough damage. I just need to be tanky.
Yeah.
And with the bonus armor from Hullbreaker when you're isolated, plus the Mythic, like, he's going to take even very little damage from towers themselves.
Yeah.
You can just start to completely ignore everything that Impact can do with Everfrost CDR boots and Azonias. Licorice will literally never die to this guy unless he's just tanking the tower for like 20 seconds.
Yeah, and for Golden Guardians, we know that this was a major team fighting composition, but it's not like you're out of initiation tools or out of disengage tools. You have Emperor's Divide to push FlyQuest off of you. You have Glacial Prison to catch out anyone on the side of FlyQuest.
Licorice.
Yeah, Licorice can consistently keep Impact on the side lane because he's the only person that can maybe keep him at bay.
Well, and look at the cannon. This is what I'm talking about. Impact had to actually drop the Everfrost active and everything just to try to clear out that wave, but it took him so long to kill off that cannon. The cannon's become so tanky, and that is that difficulty. FlyQuest in the area, but they're going to be here too late. Spica not in range to try to steal this. We'll see if there's going to be a fight after, but it doesn't look like it because they were worried about, I think, Licorice moving down. Licorice had TP advantage. Impact does not have it. So there was the concern on the FlyQuest side. If we go for a hard engage and Licorice shows up, it's going to be probably a lost fight. But, taking these two dragons back to back is huge for Golden Guardians because FlyQuest's only real recourse to this sort of playstyle is to force your opponents to group. And you do that through objectives. You do that through threatening things like Soul. But by taking these two dragons, you've pushed back any potential Soul threat like 15 minutes. So you're saying, look, you got 15 minutes before we even have to care about dragons. So if there's not a good opportunity to take it, they just give it up and they just buy more time for Licorice in the side lane.
Even the Baron objective has not really gotten much for FlyQuest in the beginning. You would think that with Baron-empowered minions, you can overload at least one lane and force FlyQuest or force Golden Guardians to answer you with multiple members. And that has not occurred at all. I mean, they've gone in maybe one tower on this entire Baron play.
And that was really just because there was no vision. No one for Licorice had actually been up there to clear out wards or drop wards for him. So he's playing really smart. Like, he hasn't died yet. He's been flip pushing really effectively, has not died at all in the side lane. So just backed it up, knew that they were going to overload the top side, look for that tier 1. But now that people answer down bot, you can see Vicla's down towards bot, answering the supers that are getting pushed in. So the 4-man squad from Golden Guardians will push hard on mid lane, try to actually threaten there, while Licorice gets top lane moving in the right direction. They can even now move in with Huhi and River, try to get some wards, allow him to be able to threaten that tier 2 tower. That's what I want to see them to really do next.
Yeah.
Because you want to enable Licorice to be hitting the turrets. If Licorice is not safe to hit the turrets, this build starts becoming pretty worthless.
Glacial Prison thrown onto Vulcan, dashes away to Prince. The minion wave might be enough to take out this mid turret. They want to look for Gori. Gori's caught off here, and he's running over to the side of Licorice. Maybe they can regroup and then pincer maneuver, but Gori's got nowhere else to run. He's already expended the flash, and it looks like FlyQuest are able to catch up to him, but there's no neutral objectives to take. So yeah, it's a summoner spelled off of Gori, but for Golden Guardians, they don't lose much off
that. And that's TP advantage now for Licorice again, right? So there's double TP down for FlyQuest, so this is going to make things pretty difficult for them in the next couple minutes. I've got to say, I don't understand why Gori didn't just use his ultimate to block the path while he's running away. It is a small corridor there. Maybe he was trying to like time it a little bit differently, but Spica had already used his ult. Flash and stuff had already been committed from Impact. I feel like if you just drop your ulti and then just continue walking up towards Licorice, you're probably out for free.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, did decide to hold on to it. Either way, as you say, it's a lot committed for one kill that really amounts to nothing here. It's kind of funny to say, but it almost feels like a Golden Guardians favored play because of the way that they're playing. Licorice is now going to go down towards bot. And again, you're now in this awkward spot where it's like, who answers him? No one has TP, and you can't play on the other side of the map because he could TP and join.
Yeah, and the way that it syncs up,
There's the Iceborne.
The bottom inhibitor is going to respawn again just in time for Baron to be spawning, which is where Golden Guardians are going to be pressuring for this play again against FlyQuest, and Licorice is going to be threatening the inhibitor, if not more, if Impact cannot hold his own against Licorice at this point in the game. And it has to remind us about what Licorice's trajectory coming from Spring, where there was a point where a lot of people are asking, man, Golden Guardians is a pretty good team if they had a real top laner. But then Licorice silenced the haters, silenced the doubters, started playing a lot of his own picks, and he even wowed a lot of the international competition at MSI.
Absolutely. I mean, he was great at MSI. You know, he really did impress in playoffs, and he's playing very intelligently through these side lanes. He has had them kind of downloaded. I'm not going to lie. He knows when the pressure is coming every single time. So it's Gori on the other side pushing it out. He's going towards a Wit's End as well. So continuing with his very tanky build. He knows it's going to be AP soul laners that are answering him, right? It's either got to be Impact or it's got to be Vicla. Those are the only people that can really come and answer him in a 1v1. And the Wit's End is going to help him to deal with that, you know, very, very easily. If they send too many members bot, Golden Guardians can do Baron.
Yep.
You can't forget, this is Aphelios and Azir, some of the fastest Baron takers in the game. So FlyQuest are going to look for an engage. That's really their only recourse. The Golden Guardians have to play safe here until someone answers. This is your time as a 4v4. If Impact dies, this is actually so bad.
Yeah, it just might be. The explosive cast goes wide. It only hits Huhi, but it doesn't hit any of the frontline members that were threatening his life.
This is like game-endingly bad almost. You know, this could get really, really rough for them because now if you send people down to answer Licorice, they can just do Baron, right? And as soon as Licorice is responded to, he's just going to back off. Like, he is this very tanky build. Again, you can't burst him down. If it's just Vicla, then he's going to be able to push and get the inhib, and you take the Baron. They're going to try to get a Dragon out of this, but you know, FlyQuest are really struggling to know what is the correct response to this. And Licorice has just gone such an intelligent build. Everyone is coming down to him on the spot side, but he's just going to kill Spica potentially.
Stopwatch is burned by Spica, and it looks like Licorice does go down. None of the FlyQuest members die, but the cost of it is Baron for Golden Guardians, and that's the comfort spot that they were aiming for in the first place.
Yeah, Licorice finally going a little bit too far is going to get punished. The stopwatch, you know, keeping Spica alive. Without that, he actually kills Spica and maybe looks a little bit different. But FlyQuest will lose their top lane inhibitor tower. So again, 2 inhibs now are exposed to this Yone who wants to be playing for split push. They are going to grab another dragon, but again, the soul win condition is pushed so far back, and it is a Chemtech soul anyway. So it's a very, very interesting game and a really interesting game state. One of my favorite things about these split push games is how you don't get a lot of time to practice them. So teams have got to be really good on the fly about being able to adapt to the situation. Who should answer? Should you base? Should you engage? Should you look for a 5 bot? Should you go for a hard engage on the 4-man squad? Like, what should you do? Really does get very complicated. And it's really fun to see teams try to problem solve on the fly. So it's going to be a good challenge, I think, for both sides to see who can really come out ahead in this regard.
I mean, so far the problem solving has gone over to the Golden Guardians. They've been able to deal with the objective situation that FlyQuest has really threatened them with, and nothing has really gone their way. I mean, the early game was a bunch of scrapping for FlyQuest, but they didn't accelerate the game fast enough, and now we're in the state where Golden Guardians, they're the ones in the driver's seat.
I mean, Licorice just got ahead in that 1v1, right? There was a lot of kills, but it was always Licorice getting gold, getting plates up on that top side. And it's so interesting, you know, I'd love to know, like, he clearly cooked up a pretty cool build here. Oh,
it looks for the engage. Stixxay is forced to use both of his summoner spells. River is front lining for the rest of the squad. Impact on the flank. Could look for the explosive cask and punch Stixxay forward, but the rest of FlyQuest have to step forward. The body slam flash. That's the engage. That's the pick on to Stixxay. Can FlyQuest carry this forward?
Well,
but Licorice teleported.
He's gonna cut the wave.
He's just cutting the wave. I mean, FlyQuest might be able to pick up another member here in River, but they won't have a minion wave to work with to look for an ending game push.
Yeah, not at all. And that was the concern here. So they are able to get a really nice engage. Impact does find that, but again, kind of smart thinking here from Licorice. He doesn't actually decide to commit to the fight. Instead, he just goes and cuts the wave. Now he's going down towards bot. He is going to be spotted. He's got to be careful here. He could be dead. He does use that ulti very quickly, so that I think is going to get him to safety. You can see Gori is moving down to support just in case they are full chasing, and they are not. But yeah, really, really interesting game. You know, they do get the catch on Stixxay. Stixxay now no summoners, and it does go down, so could really be vulnerable because Vulcan will have ulti and flash available pretty soon, and Stixxay could be easy picking. So we'll see how they want to play this out. And if FlyQuest can get one of those picks and lead into, a potential objective here.
Yeah.
But it's still a while before the next one comes. The Baron buff is just about to expire now. Golden Guardians negative 1k on the Baron power play. Not what you really want to see, but it's definitely a weird one.
It was almost the moment for FlyQuest to turn this, sinking ship around. Golden Guardians seem to almost have their number for the game-ending push. But once again, it's the problem solving that has decisively been made by both teams to answer blow for blow in one of these conditions that are being surprised in being set up by both of these teams. Licorice teleporting in, cutting off that minion wave. And now FlyQuest, they're down summoner spells to make that pick again. I mean, Stixxay's flash is gone, but I don't know if Impact will be able to get in a position like that again to make that play.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see if he can actually find that angle, and when he does look for that angle, if it's going to be Licorice in a position to punish that, right? Because if you actually go for that sort of a play, it can get punished very heavily if Licorice is already far up. So just checking in on some top Yone stats. Throughout the season, there's gonna be a gauge.
Pick on the River, using the Glacial Prison. I don't think River's getting out of this one. The jungler's gone for Golden Guardians. I mean, there's not a neutral objective coming up for at least a minute and 20 seconds, but the push will be the play for FlyQuest. There's not a big front line standing in the way of Golden Guardians' backline. So if FlyQuest want to look for a pick, they can.
They can try, but this is the problem, is there's no ult on Vulcan, there's no flash on Vicla or Impact.
He used the soul unbound, so he goes, snaps back after the explosive cast. Impact might not be able to get out of this one alive. The flash forward from Licorice. Stasis from Impact, but it's just the inevitable. Licorice takes him out, and now FlyQuest, the panic alarms are being run. Someone has to go answer Licorice in the base.
Everyone's going bot. Spica's behind him. Licorice could be in trouble here, absolutely. The Rylai's is actually slowing him down. Licorice is just turning for the fight onto Vicla. I don't know that he's going to get out of this one.
He's threatening it. I mean, he's so tanky with the Wit's End, the Iceborne Gauntlet. It's going to take a while for FlyQuest to take him out. He's actually doing a damn good work of just trading it out. Spica is now the Yone, but Golden Guardians have now made the push into the mid lane, so there's nothing that FlyQuest can answer with again.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it is that 1-for-1, but FlyQuest are going to have their top laner up a lot faster. Dragon is going to be up before Licorice has respawned, so they should be able to move towards Soul Point. And because Licorice has no TP, there is the ability for them to grab the Dragon, then try to get some wards around Baron, try to set up for these objectives, try to set up for these threatening plays. But you can see how strong Licorice is, get the 1v1 kill on Impact. And even in that 1v3, 1v4 type play, whatever you want to call it, because Prince was moving down, almost gets killed. But I was trying to check if this was something that was played by someone else and he was copying the build. So I was looking through, there's only been 2 top Yone games this entire season around the world. And neither of them were going for any sort of a build like this at all. And they weren't even in the tier 1 leagues, as long as the stats I'm looking at are correct. It was the Gale Force games. So he has cooked up something that is completely different from what I have seen. And it seems like it is of his own invention. So definitely would love to hear from him on, was this pre-planned going into this game? Did he get in the game and get ahead and say, we can't 5v5? Vulcan looking for the engage, though.
But it's narrowly avoided by Gori, just slinking over the wall with the shuffle, and Licorice is teleporting into the mid lane. Do we just get a 5-on-5 brawl to end the game? Licorice looking for the soul unbound, has the fate sealed, but no one is in range for the knockup.
Yeah, does have the ability to still 5v5, of course, but he's not really built for it. With that Hullbreaker, you're obviously losing a lot of stats when you are grouped up. They may just think that they can win 5v5 anyway, though, because you do still have Aphelios, Azir, and Lulu, right? So 5v5 not bad, but Vicla's coming.
He's looking, he finds Huhi, he blows him up! That's one member gone for Golden Guardians. Glacial Prison stops Prince in his tracks, cuts the damage down to size. Gori is in trouble, but he pops the zone. The damage from Stixxay! Moonlight Vigil is the one that silences FlyQuest down on the ground, but Spica, he's resetting. He's the Azir. He's looking for one more to Stixxay. Another auto attack. Spica's got the resets, but he's like squishy as Aphelios. He can't survive against Licorice and River. That's the full ace. Could it be the game?
Yeah, I think it can. We'll have to see. There's 35 seconds here. They only have 2 members alive, so they're going to start to pull back. It looks like they're going to try to maybe just take some jungle camps and push in as well. I see deciding that I think they're trying to calculate, do I even add more damage than not being by you for the hull breaker? You know, like, is it even worth me doing this? Should I start something else up? You know, maybe he's going to go start up the Baron while you finish off the inhib, then go back to the Baron. At the end of the day, it looks like it's just going to be the tier 2. Then they're going to go back. Maybe a little bit of split comms, you know, trying to figure out exactly what they should go for here. But this was a really scrappy fight. Vicla coming in from the side, but it is a one-shot onto Huhi, but he doesn't get any damage onto the carries. And then you can see impact here, you know, flash, body slam, hits the ulti over on a Gori, but Gori has a stopwatch to buy time, and then Stixxay just shreds FlyQuest with the Infernum ulti. Gori with his dying breath scoops Prince back into the team. And then Spica here trying to have some heroics with the resets, but you're just not going to survive getting into an 80 carries body on top of a Yone. It ain't happening. So it is the Baron going the way of FlyQuest, or excuse me, of Golden Guardians. And now FlyQuest definitely going to be in some trouble because this time the Baron buff is actually on Licorice. Last time it was not there. You can see how much damage Aphelios got out. Stixxay really blasted him with that Infernum ulti.
I'm actually curious here because it shows that Spica's GA didn't pop during that fight.
Might have been slightly on cooldown.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't actually see. I assume that if it was a bug, he would have paused. But it looks like it's up now either way.
Yeah, Spica is engaging onto River. He has Vulcan in his back pocket. River's a tanky guy. I don't think you're taking him out anytime soon. Vulcan also popped the quickness, but didn't find the charm. Moonlight Vigil gets some damage down.
And this is the desperation kind of kicking in because Licorice is in the side lane. They know they can't answer him, but he's coming to look for the flank here.
Oh, they should know. FlyQuest, they saw the
has the ulti.
Oh, looking for the fade damage right into the back line. Does the damage fall off? Explosive cast. Grand entrance onto multiple members for Golden Guardians. They're super low, but they don't have the damage to back it up. Golden Guardians are the ones left standing, and Vulcan has to retreat, but he can't defend the base. Surely this is the Golden Guardians victory.
Yeah, they've got it. Licorice coming in from the side, finds the engage onto FlyQuest. What a fun game here. Golden Guardians gonna take a win here to end their first week. And that man on the screen right now, Licorice. What a build, what a play. That was actually so fun to watch. It's so cool to see people come up with these